welcome to another session of Just the Point of View, a message from the streets. Think about it. Today's topic is a topic that I really think that needs to be expounded upon, and I'm gonna go right on into it. Recently my antennas have gone up, and I noticed that when people from other ethnic groups are attacked, or certain religious sects are attacked, they come up with the anti-Semitic, the anti-Muslim, now they got the anti-Asian. But what's been going on in this country for over 200 years is anti-black, and it's still going on right now today. And let me rephrase that, anti-so-called black. So what we have within this system is the police are anti-black. The government is anti-black. Sure, people don't have opportunities to infuse into these systems, but when we look at the judiciary system, anti-so-black. The so-called black man can't get any justice in America for himself, his family, his wife, his community. And this stuff needs to be addressed, because what's going on is these other, situations is coming up, anti-transgender, anti-homosexual. Those things are superseding the elephant in the room. And that is that America, or the American white nationalist, KKK member, conservative party, for the most part, have a problem with the former slaves of their slave master parents and family members. The slaves are the biggest problems. It's not the homosexuals. It's not the Asians. It's the descendants of the slaves, the disenfranchised, the ones that have been used and abused and trodden upon, and the ones that haven't received any acknowledgement for the contributions that they have given to this country in a deep sense. Yeah, for on the surface, oh yeah, y'all, we serve the country, we become musicians, athletes, so forth and so on. But the issue of the psychological traumatizing and of so-called black for the terrorist acts committed against so-called blacks through slavery, through segregation, through Jim Crow, these issues have not been addressed. Through police brutality, through excessive aggression from the law enforcement agency, from unfair sentencing in the judiciary system. We know, with this flashback real quick, somebody had 3.5 grams of crack, somebody had 3.5 grams of powder cocaine. The person got 3.5 grams of crack cocaine getting a mandatory 4 years. The other person getting possibly probation. And we know this is a systematic thing that has been aimed at the so-called black communities. So-called white nationalist society, government. You want to know what the problem with the so-called black man, woman, and family is? Why we're so aggressive? Why we're so dissatisfied? Why we are, all over the place in certain senses? It's because of you. It's because of your arrogance, your inability to acknowledge the truth about the crimes that you have committed against our people, our forefathers, that runs in our blood, our DNA. Y'all will never, at this time, admit to it and then do the right thing. Compensate. And it don't have to be all about money. Everybody got compensated besides the so-called black man. What did y'all do? Oh, we integrated y'all into school and then gave us the poorest textbooks. And then had your people, or people that's of the Caucasian race, attack our children, terrorize our children. So-called white nationalists, white Americans, are some of the biggest terrorists on the planet, and they have terrorized the so-called black people in front of the whole world. And everybody knows it, but don't nobody care. Because the black man, so-called black man, the so-called Africans and Afro-Americans, they ain't nothing. We the We the misfits, the orphans of the planet. We don't have no land. We don't have our nationality, our language. Everything that we are doing is creating out of the air. But before that creation out of the air came through the ethers, that there was something that we were associated with. But now that is not an issue. We the lost tribes amongst the people of the world. Even the so-called Jews call themselves Jews. But what about the so-called black man? We are Americans because we was born in America. I'm going to tell you this. If you got a chicken and you got him over there in Europe and you bring him over here to America, he's still going to be a chicken. But the thing was, the magic came about when so-called black people were enslaved and brought over here. We turned from whatever the nation or nationality we were into Negroes, into the black man, into colored people. Man, people, we got to think about this thing. Why is our heritage and our history has been hidden from us, stolen from us? Ladies and gentlemen, I just want y'all to know that things got to change. And white nationalists should be hate crime. And I begin this all talking about anti-this and anti-that. It's a hate crime to be aggression against transgenders and homosexuals. But it ain't no hate crime to shoot an unarmed black man down in the streets. It ain't a hate crime to run up in a black woman's house and shoot her while she's in her apartment. It's not a hate crime to do anything to so-called black people. But the hate crimes have been originated against so-called blacks here in the United States. Besides the hate crimes against the Aboriginals, the so-called Native American Indians. But so-called black man has been victimized by terrorism of so-called whites, and whites refuse to ante up. They refuse to pay up. They refuse to set the record straight. And that's why this American dream is such a nightmare. And that's why so-called black people are running around doing things that are not of their natural nature, but the reflection of the hostility and the violence of the white culture, so-called white culture. But y'all don't want to acknowledge that. It's just us. And y'all ain't got nothing to do with it. Well, I don't know why you people can't seem to, pull your bootstraps up and make it in this society. Everybody else did. Everybody else's experience is not our experience. And that's what y'all need to start recognizing and acknowledging, and stop trying to manipulate our minds and make us think that y'all don't owe the bill. Y'all owe reparation through finances, through education, through job training, and whatever else that we need. Do what's right, Mr. White Man, Mr. White Nation, so-called gods of the earth. In all actuality, you haven't been a god. You have been a devils, a race of devils, and not all of them. Not all of them. No, I'll never say that anyone is a race entirely all devils is for any nationality. There's black devils as well. I'm able to admit to that. All of us have the ability to be devils. There's devils in all nationalities, but the people that are holding the so-called black man here hostage and is not doing anything to to bring about a significant change in our communities and what's going on with us, you are the true devils of the planet. You are the true devils that's running this country, the reptilians, the dragon people, the bloodlines, yeah, all that. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you this message in love, and I'm going to leave you this message in peace. And next time you hear the word anti-Semitic, transgender, homosexual, Asian, think about the anti-agenda against the so-called black man and black woman and family in the United States of America. Peace, love, and grace to all. Come out with y'all hands up and pay what you owe, America. And some of this stuff will start to be dissolved. It's just that simple. Peace.